Hello, I'm Paul Louis Metzger, the director of the Institute for Cultural Engagement, New Wine, New Wineskins. I want to share with you about our conference proceedings, Maximize, Don't Marginalize. It's really about affirming people and all of creation as sacred rather than profane. We want to maximize people's identity, not minimize and marginalize them. That pertains to such matters as religious freedoms and religious minority populations. It's very important for me as a Christian living in a multi-faith society to really account for the other, the religious other, and not to see them simply as other, not to see them as ideologies or isms and ists, but really as people. I wrote a post at Pathos several years ago where I said Buddhists and Muslims are not isms and ists, they're people. The same thing is true of Hindus and Latter-day Saints and people of all different kinds of trajectories and traditions. We need to see them as more than their traditions, more than ideology points to critique, depending on where we're coming from, to disavow, to discount, but really to account for people in terms of the fullness of their identity, certainly their religious convictions, accounting for diverse philosophical trajectories. We need to account for them, respect them, listen well to people, but also to see them as more than ideological talking points, to see them as people, and to see them as fully clothed in terms of the stories, the experiences, the relationships, the cultural trajectories and the like, and as certainly their beliefs and ethical positions as well. We need to see them in terms of the fullness, to maximize, not marginalize or minimize them. This is important for us as Christians. We talk about the golden rule, to do unto others as we would have them do unto us. And so we need to account for them just as we would hope that they would account for us in terms of religious freedoms and the like. I don't want to see Christians persecuted in various parts of the world. Nowhere do I want to see Christians persecuted, nor do I want to see others persecuted, regardless of or whatever their political and religious and ethical orientation might be. We want to account for them as people. We talk about fully clothed public square because, as Richard John Newhouse talked about many years ago, we inhabit a naked public square where people are told, or it's suggested, or it's implied that we must not bring our convictions into the public square. The speaker, Professor John Moorhead, thinks it's very important that we account for people's diverse perspectives, that we account for bringing those convictions to bear in the public square for a discourse, a dialogue, yes, debate, but ultimately a dialogue, heart to heart, life on life, where we get to know our diverse religious neighbors, to account for them, and especially for religious minority groups, that we make sure that we're listening to them. If we want Christians to be treated well as minority populations in other countries, surely we should do the same toward others, not simply for the sake of other Christians, but for the sake of all people created in the image of God. We don't want to minimize or marginalize anyone, but to see them as fully clothed. Again, people are not isms or ists, they are people. Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims, Latter-day Saints, and others. Evangelical Christians, we're not ideological talking points. Let's hold firmly to our convictions, not minimize them, but not minimize other people, whatever their distinctive trajectories and traditions might be. So let's maximize, not marginalize or minimize. Join us for this session about maximizing religious freedoms for all people. In this context, we're talking about religious minority groups in the fully clothed public square. Thank you.